Because as a father, do you know the best part of hide and go seek for me? Being found. It's the best part. Because of that, my kids think I'm horrible at the game. I'm like, Dad, you want to play? I'm like, sure. 1, 2, 3. And I literally I literally go find some couch somewhere. And they're like, 1, 2, 3, and I do this. And my kids are like, ready or not, here I come. And they walk around the corner like, Dad's leg is sticking out from behind the couch. He's horrible at this game. But when they find me, they come and jump on me, and that's the best part. Like, the best part as a father is being found. That doesn't stir your heart so you'll seek him and never find him. He makes it clear again and again. If you'll seek him, you'll find him. Because he loves being found. So if you're in this room tonight and the Lord's been stirring your heart to seek him, do you want to know why? Because he intends to be found by you. And this is the principle that happens in cities and workplaces and campuses. Do you know what God's doing in Loveland right now? He's doing this. Literally, God's doing that in Loveland. And he's just looking for some people that will just start looking for him. I think that's God. He's horrible and ugly. And again, as a father, we have to understand that he's very moved by us. Again, if you don't have kids, you'll still understand this, that because you had a father, but we moved the heart of God. I'm very irresistible to him, and he knows it. So you know what his strategy is in the city for revival? He finds a group of people. He just starts stirring them up. He just starts stirring them. Just revealing himself to them. And they just get this hunger in their heart. And they get before them, they just cry. They say, God, we're so hungry for you. And then God responds to that. Because he's moved by the cry of his children. When we had our first kid, Ellie, she's 17 now, but we had her sleep through the night. Not too long after she was born, but then we started traveling and she got off schedule, and so she would wake up at 2 a.m. every morning. And my wife and I have this like big California king, and so it was just so much easier just to go in and get her and put her in bed with us and go to sleep. But after a while, I'm the type of guy when I sleep, I'm like, this is my area, that's your area. Like, leave me, I have my whole little system, and I just need to be left alone. And my daughter didn't know that, and so she started turning sideways and was laid out, and her foot's in my back. So I told my wife, CJ, I can't do this anymore. I'm not sleeping tonight because Ellie's in my space. And so we need to get her to sleep through the night, but we were rookies, we're total rookie parents. We're like, well, how do you do that? I don't know how you do that. I don't know. So I'll ask some people. So I'm asking around, my kid's not sleeping through the night. This was maybe right around 12 months. I said, how do we get her to sleep through the night? All of them had the same answer. They're like, you got to break her. I was like, what? They're like, you got to break her. I was like, she's not a horse. She's a baby. They're like, no, you got to break her. I'm like, well, how do you break her? You got to let her cry it out. I just got to let her cry. They're like, yeah, let her cry. She'll figure it out. How long does that take? I don't know. She might go 3 or 4 hours. It might be 3 or 4 nights. She'll get it. What? Okay. So we went home. I'm like, I guess, CJ, we have to break her or something. I can let her cry it out. So we literally got our schedule. I'm not kidding right now. We got our schedule, and we laid it all out. And we're like, okay, what's 3 nights? And like, here's 3 nights we're setting aside. Break Ellie, And so the first night comes around, and Ellie wakes up at 2 in the morning, and I walk in, and Ellie was this, and Kim would remember this. Ellie was this, like, fat little round thing. She was this fat little round thing, and she was standing in the crib, and she was just crying, wah, wah. And I walk in, and I'm like, Ellie, you're a big girl now. People sleep in their cribs. They don't sleep with mommy and daddy. And you're a big girl, so you need to stay here. So I lay her down, and she immediately jumps up. She's crying. I walk out. I close the door. We go in our room, and I turn on my light. We sit up. We turn on, TV, and we're like, we're doing this. 3 or 4 hours. We're waiting this thing out. Let's do this. And I turn to my wife, who is definitely the weaker of both of us, and I say, CJ, can't give in. All right, don't give in. We can do this. She's going to be okay. So I was like, okay. And so my daughter's just crying, wham, wham. About 10 minutes in, she starts doing this. She goes, wham, wham, dad, dad. And I'm in my room and I'm like, I turn to my wife and I'm like, you are so mean that you would make her cry it out. My daughter needs me. And I went into her room, I picked her up, I said, Ellie, you can sleep with us forever. And I put her in bed with us, and she slept in our bed for a year. Listen, understanding that God's a Father is critical to seeking Him. Because you have to understand how much you move His heart. You have to understand how much He responds to you. You have to understand how much He loves to be found. He is a Father. He's not a boss. He's not an employer. He's not a dictator. He's a Father. And He calls us to seek Him because He intends to be found by us and because He knows you stir my heart. You move my heart. You know what Isaiah says? You know what separates God from every other God? Isaiah says that He acts for those who wait for Him. So nobody's ever seen, no eye has heard, no ear, no eye has seen, no eye has heard. No eye has heard, no ear has seen. There's never been a God besides you who acts for those who wait for Him, who seek Him. God's moved to action by us because He's a Father. And it's important to understand Him as a Father because it's not just those who seek Him, it's those who diligently seek Him. This is a big one. Listen to this. Hebrews chapter 11 says this. He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Not just those who seek Him, those who diligently seek Him. Diligence means this. Constant in effort to accomplish something. Attentive and persistent in doing anything. Done or pursued with persevering attention. One of the things that the Lord wants to bring back into the body of Christ is this concept of diligence. It's not just seeking the Lord, it's diligently seeking Him. And when Jesus taught about prayer in Luke 11, and then we'll read Luke 18, He said, hey guys, listen. I want you to pray, because everyone who asks receives, everyone who knocks, the door's open, everyone who seeks finds. But then He attached a story to that phrase of a friend at midnight. Listen to this. Luke 11, 5-8. And He said to them, which of you shall have a friend and go to him at midnight and say to him, friend, lend me 3 loaves? For a friend of mine has come to me on his journey, and I have nothing to set before him. And he will answer from within and say, do not trouble me. The door is now shut, and my children are in bed. I cannot rise and give to you. I say to you, though, he will not rise to give to him because he's a friend, yet because of his persistence, as many as he needs. Jesus told him in Luke 18. Again, there's a key that says this. If you'll seek the Lord with what? All of your heart. If you'll seek the Lord with all of your heart, you'll find Him. If you will be diligent in seeking Him with everything you have, you'll find Him. And Jesus, in telling us and encouraging us not to lose heart, tells another story. Listen to this. Luke 18. Then He spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and listen and not lose heart. Saying there was in a certain city a judge who did not fear God nor regard man. Now there was a widow in that city, and she came to him, saying, get justice for me from my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I do not fear God nor regard man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her, lest by her continually coming she weary me. Like, you got to wrap your head around this concept. Jesus uses the analogy of a judge who didn't fear God or fear man, and a widow who was so persistent that she finally just wore him down. See, and Jesus said, let me tell you a story because I don't want you to lose heart. And if you lose heart, you can't seek him with all of your heart. I don't want you to lose heart because the key, and so he taught not just prayer, but persistent prayer. And persistent prayer is connected to understanding he's a father. Persistent prayer is connected to his father. My son is 10. Do you know love languages? Okay, my love languages are touch and words of affirmation. Those are my top two. It's why the prophetic is so amazing for me, because somebody comes and lays their hands on me and tells me how great God thinks I am. You know, it's just like... Kim and I have an argument over this thing, because every time I see her, I just want to hug her, and she's not touched. So she's like, go away. And, so I'm touched. My son is touched. But if there's a scale of 1 to 10, he's like 14. If he could, he would Velcro himself to my body. Everybody he meets, he's just like clinging to. It's just his love language. So my son, I'll get home, after work or whatever, and I'll sit down on the couch with him to watch some TV, and he's sitting on that side, and I'm sitting on this side, watching TV, and all of a sudden I'll look over, and he's like just draped on me. And this may be bad dad move, but I'm like, son, get off of me. And I'll be sitting there a little bit ago, and a little bit more, and all of a sudden I look over, and he's just on me again. He's like just draped on me. I'm like, son, go away, stop it, sit over there. Watch it again, all of a sudden, he's like draped on me again. Until finally I just give up. I'm like in the corner of the couch watching TV, and he's like, okay, whatever. Listen, there's something in the mind of a child that doesn't hear the word no. It's really astounding. Really astounding. It's almost like my son's like, I know my dad's saying, leave him alone, but that can't be what he means. I'm hearing no, but that's not right. And he just keeps coming. And he just keeps coming. And he just keeps coming. You gotta understand God's Father. This is such a profound thing that, you're just knocking. I'm the friend at midnight, just knocking. And if he answered, nah, he will though. Why? He's a dad. He'll give in eventually. I know how to get to his heart. I know how to wear him down. You ever been around kids? That's amazing how much they can wear you down. Like, no, and all of a sudden I'm saying yes. This is so random. How did I just say yes? What happened? Like, he's a dad. Oh yeah, it'll happen. I've been knocking for a while. I just keep knocking. The Bible just says, hey, listen, the prayer, just keep knocking. Just keep knocking. You just keep knocking. And you just keep knocking some more. And you keep knocking some more because you understand he's a father. He's going to answer. He will. He'll answer. He's a dad. He's a father. It's not just those who seek him. It's those who seek him with all of their heart and have a lost heart. And it's those who diligently seek him, who are persistent in their pursuit. And they just keep coming, 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 and they just keep coming. And whenever they want to begin to lose heart, they realize again, oh, he's a father. That's his nature. I move his heart. It's really critical for your own personal life that you seek God, but it's also very, very critical for your city. There's something about seeking God that if you'll seek with all heart, you'll find him. But when you seek him, you don't just find him for yourself. I believe you can find him for a city. I believe that your personal breakthrough releases corporate breakthrough. I can give you examples in Scripture, but I'm just going to give you one. Look at this. And here we go. Acts chapter 16. Listen to this. Paul and Silas were put in prison. They're preaching the gospel. They get taken, whipped, chained, put in the inner prison in stocks. Listen to this. Having received such a charge, he put them into the inner prison and fastened their feet in the stocks.
But at midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. And the prisoners were listening to them. The prisoners were not praying. The prisoners were not worshiping. The prisoners were passively listening to Paul and Silas. Suddenly, there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken. And immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's chains were loosed. Okay, listen. God responds to Paul and Silas because God always responds to seekers. If you've ever really been around a seeker, what you'll find is God's just active around them. God's just active. He just is responding because they're seeking. And Paul and Silas, they're praying and they're worshiping. And God sends an earthquake in response. But you know what's fascinating? The Bible doesn't say that the door in front of Paul and Silas opened and the chains fell off of Paul and Silas. The Bible says that all of the doors were open and everyone's chains were loosed. People that weren't seeking God, people that weren't pursuing God, people that were passively listening received breakthrough, experienced breakthrough because two people decided to seek God. This is why revival never starts with the masses. It always starts with a few. Revival starts with a few people who commit themselves to seeking God with everything they have. Because it's those few that get breakthrough. It's those few that commit themselves to personally seeking God, and they release a breakthrough corporately. And I'm telling you, this applies across the board. There are some of you in this room that you are dealing with marital issues. You are having struggles in your marriage. You know what you do? You press in. You press in your marriage. You get healthy in your marriage because your breakthrough in your marriage releases in a region breakthrough in marriages. It does. People that weren't even going at, people that weren't even pursuing breakthrough, all of a sudden receive breakthrough. I believe, listen, in business and in purity and in all these areas, we seek God, we pursue God, because I know this, as I pursue Him and I receive breakthrough, that breakthrough is not confined to me. It can actually be released. We've been telling this, listen, we've been traveling the nation for a long time now, raising up a generation, and now we're raising up old people, okay? Because I'm in my 40s and 50s. But calling a generation to seek Him. Do you want to know why worship is so prevalent right now? Do you want to know why worship is the top music being sold in the nation right now? Because God is emphasizing and stirring people to seek Him. Because if He can get a company of people that seek Him, it will release breakthrough, not just in the church, but in cities. It will release breakthrough in nations. It will release breakthrough in a generation. This is why it's so critical that not all of you are on staff at church. It's really important that you're not on staff at church. We need you where you are seeking God, because you're going to release breakthrough in that area. And when you begin to understand two things: one, He's a Father and He responds, and I move His heart and I just keep coming. I just keep coming. I know He doesn't mean no. I know it doesn't mean no. He's a dad. I'm going to keep coming. But the second thing is this: is you have to begin to understand the power of your prayers. Do you know Newton's third law? I knew it, but I didn't know Newton had a bunch of laws. Newton had a bunch of laws. One of them's the third law. And Newton's third law is, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Do you know in the kingdom that doesn't apply? In the natural, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There's a law of prayer, though. And you know what the law of prayer is? For every action, there's a greater and more substantial reaction. This is why me, little old me, and me and my friends decide to get together. We say, hey, the Lord's stirring my heart, the Lord's stirring your heart. Let's get together, let's just pray. And it's 2 or 3 of us in this little tiny, kind of pathetic little prayer meeting. We just get before the Lord and say, Lord, we're just hungry for you. God, we just pray you come. And our prayers before Him do not evoke an equal reaction. It's something far greater. Ask the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He brought before Jesus 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He didn't get back 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Jesus didn't say, great, here's an equal and opposite reaction. Here's 5 more loaves and 2 fish. Listen to this real quick. Isaiah 42, 10 through 13 says this. And then we're going to be done. The worship team come up. Isaiah 42, 10 through 13 says this. Sing to the Lord a new song and his praise from the ends of the earth. You who go down to the sea and all that is in it, you coastlands and you inhabitants of them, let the wilderness and its cities lift up their voice. The villages that Kedar inhabits, let the inhabitants of Selah sing. Listen to this, okay? Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory to the Lord and declare his praise in the coastlands. So the Bible instructs us to give him praise and to shout. But listen to the response of God. The Lord shall go forth like a mighty man. He shall stir up his zeal like a man of war. He shall cry out, yes, shout aloud, and prevail over his enemies. You know what this city needs? It needs God just to stand up and shout. And you know what God responds to? Your shout. This, again, listen, in prayer, it is not an equal and opposite reaction. I come before God, I lift up my voice, and then God stands up like a man of war. He stirs his zeal up. He stands up and he lets out his shout over a city and prevails over his enemies. That's not equal and opposite. My shout ignites his shout. It's not my shout that saves cities, but my shout gets him to stand up and let out a shout. My worship, my seeking stirs his heart like a father. He stands up with zeal and shouts over cities. You know what Loveland needs? You know what Denver needs? You know what Colorado Springs needs? You know what Colorado needs? They need people who just say, I'm seeking. I'm going to lift up my voice. I'm going to pursue you because I know that if I can get breakthrough, it stirs something in your heart and you're going to respond in a greater and more substantial way. If the Lord can stir in your heart to seek him, it's because he needs to be found. Because he's going to do something in your city. He's going to do something in your workplace. He's going to do something in your family. He's going to do something in your life. Here's what I want us to do tonight. If you just say, here's how I want you to respond. We don't really know. I see this one. I want you to stand with this. Tonight, if you just say, the Lord's been stirring my heart, or tonight I feel the Lord speaking to me, and you just say, I want to be somebody who seeks the Lord. And it doesn't look like, you have to go on your journey with God, right? I'm not giving you a formula. I'm not telling you it looks like an hour every day. It looks like early morning. It looks like late at night, whatever. But that your heart is pointed consistently at the Father. You say, God, I want to seek you. I want to know you more. I want to come after you. I want to call on you to visit my city. If you just say tonight, listen, I want to be that person. And I want the Lord to ignite my heart to seek him. I want us to physically respond tonight because I think the Lord's going to release something on you. And I want you to get out of your chair. I want you to come forward. You can get in the aisles. I don't care. But physically, I want you to step out tonight. If you say, I want to be something. I want to be something. The Lord said, seek my face. Not my face, but what you say. I want to pray over you tonight. God is united with you. A deeper passion, deeper understanding and revelation of not only the power of prayer, but the understanding of God the Father. Here tonight. God, what I'm asking in this room tonight is that you would stir our hearts. We would find this dispensation, this desire to seek you, to come after you, to pursue you. Not just in a prayer closet, but all day long that our hearts
would be alive to you, that all day long our hearts would just say, God, I want to know you, I want to seek you, I want to find you, I want to see breakthrough happen in this city. And I just pray that God will stir your hearts, and then I pray that God would give you a deeper understanding and a deeper revelation of what it means to be a son or a daughter, and what it is for him to be a father. You move the heart of God. You stir the heart of God. You make him want to stand up with zeal like a man of war, and you make him want to shout. You make him want to stand up and prevail over the enemies in a city that have hindered the gospel, that have robbed the lives of people. And I'm telling you right now, your heart to pursue him, your heart to seek him, is going to release breakthrough in the lives of people. Not only will you find them, but you're going to find them for other people. There's going to be people that weren't even seeking God that come up to you and say, listen, I don't know what it is, but I just met with God. I want to come to church. I want to know Jesus. God is going to become active around you because of your desire to seek him. I want us to lift up our voice right now in worship. And I just want us to come before him. Before you leave tonight, I just want to make sure you get before God and say, God, listen, I just want to commit my life to this. I want to go on a journey of seeking you. Holy Spirit, we just pray you come in this place. Stir our heart to seek
You